But as you see America in a steep decline, you're going to see a lot of this stuff start to happen now. And if you're not partnering with Yah, that goes for Israelites or so-called Gentiles, Goyim, it doesn't matter. Whoever does not adhere to the word of the Most High and deal with equity and fairness to the children of Israel, you won't make it out of this. Because you're starting to see, in the 60s, I remember seeing pictures in books and things like that of little black kids holding signs saying, this is a police state. We'll come up to the 2000s, right? From the 60s to 2000s, to about 70 years later, and guess what you have now? We see our Caucasian, our pale-faced brothers saying, this is a police state. You see the people like the Alex Jones and things like that saying what? This is a police state, making movies and documentaries. This is a police state. Because they try everything. The rulers, the real rulers of these nations, Psalms 83, they try everything on the undesirable people first. And the people that are not desirable, that's not beautiful, have no comeliness to them, that we should seek him. That's Isaiah 53. It's always the children of Israel. But that's coming to an end very soon. So now let's start at Isaiah chapter 52. And we're going to read that and flow right into Isaiah 53. So we can get some sense of what this really means, okay? Peace. Alright, so you can see the title of Yeshaya chapter 52. The title wasn't initially in the script, but it's the Lord's coming salvation. Verse 1. Awake, awake, put on thy strength, O Zion, put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city. For henceforth there shall no more come into thee the uncircumcised and unclean. We know that hasn't happened because right now the uncircumcised and unclean are actually there. Verse 2. Shake thyself from the dust, arise and sit down, O Jerusalem. Loose thyself from the bands of thy neck, O captive daughter of Zion. Verse 3. For thus saith Yah, ye have sold yourselves for naught, and ye shall be redeemed without money. Same thing in Hadarim 28:68. Verse 4. For thus saith Yah the strong one, my people went down aforetime into Egypt to sojourn there, and the Assyrian oppressed them without cause. So a lot of people don't understand this. There was a guy, the bumbling idiot, Rabbi Lewis, who's neither a rabbi or a Muslim. He just into all kind of idolatry. But I was explaining this to him in an old video series you can check out. And you'll see that the Hyksos literally are Semitic people. But the word Hyksos is a banner term as well. So even we were called and determined as Hyksos or shepherd kings. You can find that in Josephus. But it shows you about the Hyksos, and they kind of mess with the dates a little bit. But as you see in that last verse, it says, the Assyrians oppressed us without cause. And when we were in Egypt, they were oppressing us. The Assyrians are aka the Hyksos. That's why they can't tell you who the Hyksos come from, what civilization they come from. And if you remember in that video, I kept asking him, where do the Hyksos come from? He had no answer for it. Why? Because he doesn't know. Most people are not well studied. But the Hyksos and the Assyrians, they are Shemitic people. They are people of color. They look just like the children of Israel, so-called African American, so-called Negroes. You can look up the Elamites, right? Not Edomites, but Elamites. Elam, mentioned in Genesis chapter 10 and 11. And you can see the children of Shem. So when you go back and look at this, you see now that this is a future prophecy coming, and the Most High is showing how the uncircumcised will no longer be in the land, right? They won't be in the land anymore, and that we were oppressed by the Assyrians down there as well, in Egypt. And not only that, they took the 10 tribes into captivity, or 7.5 tribes into captivity under the Assyrian captivity in 722 BCE, right? And you can read about that, Pul, Tiglath-Pileser III, etc., Sennacherib. And then you can also see how they came into the land speaking Aramaic against Hezekiah. And Hezekiah was telling them to speak into the certain languages so that the people would understand. So you can read about that in Chronicles and in Kings as well. So let's go to the next verses, right? Next verses. All right, so let's go to verse 5. Now therefore, what have I here, saith Yah, that my people is taken away for naught? They that rule over them maketh them to howl, saith Yah, and my name is continually every day is blasphemed. So the nations don't seem to understand that when you see us crying and complaining, when you see everybody saying, oh, pull yourself by the bootstraps and do all this X, Y, and Z, you don't realize that's us howling. Because you don't experience the pain, therefore you don't have the sympathy. And see, the cognitive dissonance is that people feel bad knowing that they're seeing the wrong being done, and they don't want to acknowledge that wrong, right? So then what do people do? They pretend that the wrong just simply doesn't exist, right? So that's kind of what you're seeing here, right? So it says, and it says his name is continually every day blasphemed. Because when we're not ruling Israel, he gets his understanding and blessing. The Most High gets that through us and fulfilling that covenant. So think about the Most High as a father. If he's not providing and doing what he needs to do for his children, he's like a deadbeat, and nobody respects a deadbeat. But the truth is, it's not Yah's fault, it's our fault, my forefathers' fault. And as you see in 1 Kings, we have to confess our sins and the sins of our fathers, right? We see that crystal clear. So let's go to the next verse. Therefore my people shall know my name. And we see that now. I remember when YouTube first started in 2007, it was people just calling us all kinds of things for saying we're the children of Israel. Now it's normally accepted now that we are Israel. You have some people still trying to fight it, but it doesn't matter, because those curses and things that are happening to the children of Israel are not happening to the Gentiles. Now, you're going to start to see a lot of those curses going to start happening to the Gentiles and other people, because the Most High is going to flip those curses, and he is flipping them. And America's falling. You got people storming the Capitol on January 6th, right, 2020. You got people complaining that they can't buy a home, people complaining that the food is being poisoned, etc., etc., etc. All this is the attack by Esau. But since the nations were in league with the Edomites and oppressing Israel, I told you before, it starts with the undesirable first. That's how people in authority are able to destroy the people at the bottom so effectively. It's because everybody has the quiet sin. Nobody says nothing. Everybody sees what's going on, but nobody wishes to say anything, right? And we see that. We see that consistently. Okay, so now it says, how beautiful, verse 7, upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that publisheth peace, that bringeth good tidings of good, that publisheth salvation, that saith to Zion, thy God reigneth. When you think about this for a second, think about what's really going on in the world. You got the 1% that own pretty much everything, and then everybody else is living off the 99% are living off less than the majority of 1% have. That's what you see going on here. You see the world is in shambles because people are like, gimme, gimme, gimme. Just give me, give me, give me. Forget my fellow man. Forget being equitous. Forget the issues of usury. Forget all these different things, and everybody's just manipulating and taking advantage of people. And now it's become a dog-eat-dog world. And I find it funny that the nations love to say that dogs are man's best friend, but it's a dog-eat-dog world. Dogs have other applications to them that are not necessarily the greatest things, right? And it says, verse 8, thy watchmen shall lift up the voice, with the voice together shall they sing, for they shall see eye to eye when Yah shall bring again Zion. And that's what we're looking at right now. We're looking at Zion being brought together, right? We're seeing the children of Israel starting to wake up. A lot of idolatry is still being taught, but a lot more people. I remember when particularly it was only like a couple of us, even on YouTube, that wasn't into the myth. All right, so again, so now let's go into 52 and 9. Break forth the joy, sing together, ye waste place of Jerusalem, for the Lord 3068 hath comforted his people, he hath redeemed Jerusalem. 10. The Lord 3068 hath made bare his holy arm in the eyes of all the nations, and all of the earth shall see the salvation of our God. Our God possesseth. Verse 11. Depart ye, go ye out from thence, touch no clean thing. Go ye out of the midst of her, be ye clean, that bear the vessels of the Lord. 3068. That's Yah. That's not JC. That's not YAHAWAHSHI. That's not Yeshua, any of that. Verse 12. For ye shall not go out with haste, nor go by flight. For the strong one, or Yah, 3068, will go before you, and the God of Israel will be your reward. Where do we see Israel or Jesus in this? Where's Jesus in this? And see, remember, like I told you guys, chapters and verses. Look how it said this is, they give you the titles at the top that the Hebrews never wrote, but they give you those things because they want you to make the correlation and start reading in the context of what they told you the title was. So when you look at 13 going down, pierce for our transgressions, all of that, now you also instantly start thinking about the crucifixion. You see? But that's not the title of it. And to help you when you go to